Puan, lori ini bos kami dah beli. Dia tak kasih buat aktiviti kat sini tau.
Apa-apa pun tak nak.
Cik!
Cik, baik! Sekarang ni tempat bisnes aku. Bukan tempat untuk kamu semua main-main. Faham? Aku dengar kamu orang tak letak kemah yang lengkap. Tak tahu datang dari mana. Kalau mau belajar, kamu pergi cari tempat lain. Diamlah. Jangan buat bising. Customer aku sudah komplain.
Saya faham Cikgu Siti. Tapi budak ni tak ada sijil lahir, tak ada dokumen.
Tak bagi budak-budak ni pergi sekolah kan? Tak apa. Biar aku je yang dekatkan sekolah dengan diorang.
Boleh tak saya tukar apple ni dengan buku tu?
Yang ni? Boleh je. Nah. Tak apa, awak simpan je apple tu, okey?
Betul ke?
Betul.
Terima kasih, Kak.
Okay, so A untuk?
Apple.
B untuk?
Ball.
C untuk?
Cat.
Walaupun dia tak ada dokumen, Cik, dia tetap ada masa depan.
Peraturan tetap peraturan.
Kalau dah tak ada jalan lain, Cik, memang masa depan budak-budak ni tertutup selamanya, Cik. Budak-budak ni tak minta kemewahan. Dia cuma minta peluang. Kalau maksud sebenar raya adalah untuk buka pintu dan hati, inilah masanya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Untuk kita buka pintu untuk mereka ni semua.
Bos, stok kita terbakar sebab ada orang buat rokok. Kita kena cari tempat lain.
Mr. Lim, saya nak jumpa awak ke rumah terbuka hari raya nanti.
Bukankah itu maksud sebenar raya?
Pergi! Pergi!
Dulu aku fikir sekolah untuk yang ada. Cikgu ajar ilmu untuk semua. Walau datang tanpa nama, di sini kami semua diterima.
Haji, bye-bye, bye-bye. Tempat ini tempat ini nama orang pakai je. Tapi jangan bising sangat.
Cikgu, okey? Ilmu yang kita ada, kita kena kongsikan dengan semua.
Tahun depan boleh tak saya ajar budak baru?
Boleh.
Terima kasih, Cikgu.
kids and chocolate to become the future leader. They can be proud of themselves telling that I'm the street children that came out from the buku and chocolate. And I'm here to change humanity. I'm here to change how people live. Okay, done.
Hi, morning all. Welcome back to Morning Cuppa at 8. Happy Friday, Aiman here. Okay, so for yesterday, the S&P 500 declined further, falling around 1.52% or 103.18 points to close at 6672 points. So the market's early week optimism has shattered as the Middle East conflict intensifies, which also sending the global oil, the crude oil prices back to above $100 per barrel, right? So earlier this week, I think we were told that the war will probably end soon. However, investors are growing increasingly worried that the short war sentiment or theory was wrong, leading to a broad sell-off in everything except the energy and also, I think, gold, right? So for now, I do expect a weaker Friday session as the market struggle with the reality of the largest oil supply disruption for now, right? So if you look at the China A50, it finished slightly lower or pulled back on yesterday's session, closing somewhere near 1477 points as the two-session political meeting officially ended or concluded. So I think while the government reaffirmed that its focus on high-tech self-reliance and also the AI Plus initiative, I think investors turned cautious due to the new US trade investigation and the start of the EU carbon tax, which I think could increase costs for these Chinese exporters, right? So I think from the sentiment we got here, expect a sideways session for today. Movement or today's session as the market digests the final policy details from the long meetings, right? Also for if you look at the WTI crude oil futures on yesterday, it jumped around 9% to settle somewhere around $97 per barrel. So this rally wiped out much of the earlier weeks, the peace talk optimism. So the market was driven by the historic warning from the IEA or the energy agency, right? And also the aggressive new statement from Iranian leadership, which signal that the oil blockade isn't ending anytime soon. So I think expect an extremely volatile opening for Friday session as the market realizes that the even the record-breaking release of the emergency or reserve are not enough to fix the the movement of the price for now. So if you look at our Malaysia market, our local market, well, the KLCI together with the FKLI both finished higher on yesterday's session with the KLCI gaining around 2.23 points or 0.13% to close at somewhere at 1711 points. So the market staged a dramatic final hour recovery or rebound, right? From the early morning low, I think somewhere around 1680, 1690 points as the bargain hunter, rush into those energy and also the plantation stocks or sector as well. I think expect a volatile opening to today's session as traders weigh the risk of the the blockade Strait of Hormuz against the recent resilience of the local heavyweight. Also, if you look here, we saw strong leadership from the banking giants, especially Maybanks, declining 3% yesterday, right? I think while the index was up, I think it was a bit mixed across the board yesterday. So the industrial services sector saw some healthy gains with the uh, we have Sunway, Gamuda right here. So transportation also went up, such as AX. Together with the utility sector, we have Sanaga here, up by 1.12%. Also the strong and the strong sector that is the eye of investors right now, which is um the energy sector as well, right? So well, for yesterday, most of the sector rebounded. I think some of it uh, took a breather again, right? I think in terms of our watch list, we continue to favor on the consumer side of things. I think regardless of the war situation right now, right? And also for our Malaysia trading stocks, so we have 99 Speed Mart retail for today. So the stock is on its breakout formation at this 3.50 level on a strong volume. So with that, we expect the momentum to keep bullish and the stock able to propel to test the next resistance at 3.75, followed by 4 ringgit level. So if the stock to clear this 3.20 support, this could reverse the course and could trend lower uh, below the support, the given support, right? And also next we have their SH Resources. So the stock is experiencing a pending breakout at 1.30 level. So if the stock remain bullish, we're expecting the price to reach 1.35 in the coming session with high volume as well. Next resistance, so second resistance is at 1.40 level. Keep an eye at 1.25 level for any attempt of reversal. And also, lastly, we have FCPO here. Well, it finished slightly higher on Thursday's session, reclaiming the 4,500 dollar ringgit level as the global crude oil prices surge back towards the $100 following the fresh, the tanker got attacked, right? So I think sentiment was further bolstered by the strong early March export data showing that a huge jump in the shipment and news that Malaysia will raise its export duty. So for now, we still keep our positive bias remains unchanged, potentially eyeing for the 4,800 level, and with second resistance eyeing at 4,980 level, and we keep our stop loss. Our stop loss remains firm at for to 10 ringgit level. So I think that's all from me. Thanks everyone and happy reading. Pass with to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, morning. Thanks, Aiman. Yep, so today I will be presenting on Bermaz Auto results review. We maintain buy with an unchanged TP of 95 cents. Third Q FY26 results almost doubled Q on Q, beating our consensus estimates, accounting for about 76 to 81% of our full year forecast. Really, the main deviation came from a very robust sales volume from both Mazda and also Xpeng. Moving forward, however, in 4Q FY26, we might see a moderation, and this is due to first of all due to the lesser working days on the back of the Eid Fitri and also Chinese New Year. And secondly, we also assume a more or less subdued market sentiment due to the current ongoing conflict. However, our FY27 thesis still remains intact, supported by the a very strong Mazda 3 backlog orders of about 2,500 units, and also the introduction of the new CBU CX5 that will be launched in July this year, and as well as also the Kia exits and also the stronger ringgit, which will support the CBU margin. Yeah. So overall, we increase our FY26 earnings by about 8%, but we keep our FY27 and FY28 unchanged for now. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you, and I'll pass on to the next speaker.
Okay, thanks, Iftaar. Hi, morning, everyone. For this morning, we have a sector report on the banks. This is the results wrap note based on their recent December reporting quarter. So in the 4Q 25 reporting season, what we noticed is that it was actually quite a decent quarter for the banks. 7 out of the 9 banks under our coverage reported results that met our and consensus expectations. The surprises were BIMB. They beat our and consensus expectations because of chunky gains from disposal of property, while MBSB disappointed both our and streets estimates. This was because of a lumpy one corporate which turned impaired, so they had to make provisions for that. On dividends, BIMB's dividend was higher than expected due to the better than expected results. But the 60% payout ratio was actually in line with our assumption, while AFIN's dividend was also higher than expected. This was on the back of a better than expected payout of 40% versus our 30% assumption. Some highlights from the briefings. I think one of the more notable highlights is the optimism on margins. A few banks were actually guiding for margins to be better this year on the back of liability management initiatives. For instance, banks have been turning to the non-deposit funding market to raise funds. And also there's last year's policy rate cut that is starting to filter through to deposit costs. So all this will help bring down funding costs and is expected to be positive for NIM. Loan growth was guided to be stable, while banks with regional operations should see stronger growth this year, especially if the ringgit headwinds eases, while asset quality generally looks fine. So that should be positive for credit costs as well. I think the other interest here is around this new capital framework for credit risk that will be implemented. And this is specifically for banks that have adopted the standardized approach. So the smaller banks are guiding for an uplift of about less than 50 bips to the CET1 ratio. Bigger banks like Hong Leong has guided for 60 basis point uplift. Public is guiding for 100 basis points uplift. So this will actually help banks to utilize the excess capital or extra capital for growth. While I think the odds of a capital management is probably going to be higher for some of the bigger banks like Public Bank. Overall, the forecast changes were quite small. We actually raised FY26 and 27F sector earnings by about 1%. We are looking at a 4% earnings growth for the sector this year, led by stronger operating income. And so we are keeping our overweight call on the sector. I think generally earnings fundamentally is quite sound. Dividend yields are attractive, and with some banks looking at potential capital management initiatives, so there could be further upside to the dividend yields there. Our top picks in order of preference are Public Bank, CIMB, and then Maybank. Okay, I will stop here and pass you to the next speaker.
Thank you, David. Good morning, everyone. Good news from, thank you so much for the update, David. So I think it's good that we are actually, our team is actually positive on the banking sector. All right, so I'll be sharing on some of the new warrants that has been listed on Tuesday. Okay, let me try to put it on the full screen. Okay, anyway, we actually have 18 new warrants. All right, the screen is a bit small. Okay, yeah. So we have 18 new warrants that has been listed on Tuesday. All right, we have names from banking to utilities and also technologies and all, like for example, VTROX C19, Zetrix CF5, and so forth. You'll be able to get the full listing on the RHB Warrant website. And if you are following us on the Telegram channel, then we'll be updating on the Telegram channel. Okay, so the past few days we actually see a very high trader volume on some of our newly listed warrants. Okay, so before I start naming them, just a quick tip for you. So why are some of the new warrants are more attractive than the older warrants in the market? All right, it's basically based on depends on it's because of the exercise price. For all newly listed warrants, right, their exercise price normally will be pricing it relatively closer to the current share price. All right, so if you are comparing the warrants now and warrants that has been issued 3 months ago, you'll be able to notice the differences in the exercise price. Yeah, because shares will move, right? So in this case, that will actually cause your warrants to be in the money or out of the money, because exercise price is always fixed. However, the share price will move from time to time. Okay, so this actually makes sense that why new warrants are normally more attractive than the older warrants. Yeah, so for Zetrix CA5 is currently sold out, so which means that these warrants has already been bought by the investors and they are holding it. They are not selling back to the market makers, and this will actually cause the spread of the Zetrix CA5 has been widened. Okay, so we actually saw very high interest in Zetrix CF5, while some other warrants like Tenaga C3V, Gamuda C40, and MSCCX has been actively traded the past few days as well. Actively traded doesn't mean that they buy and hold. They buy, sell, right? So there's actually high trading activity in some of these warrants. For Tenaga C3V, I would say is actually one of the very attractive warrants in terms of spec, because if you look at the exercise price, is at 14 ringgit 88 cents. So yesterday's closing was around 14 ringgit 22 cents, which is slightly out of money. So this actually caused the effective gearing of this warrant. It's at 7 times. And then the warrant price was at around 9 cents. So if you compare 9 cents with the mother share price of 40 ringgit, you'll be able to see a huge difference for you to outlay your capital. So this is what we call smaller capital outlay if you invest in warrants compared to the mother share. All right, but there's another risk to note, which is the 7 times of effective gearing. If the share price goes up, of course, it's a good one, it's a gain. While if it comes down, right, then it's actually you actually incur quite a high losses compared to the mother share as well. All right, so as today we actually followed through the beginning of morning kappa till now, there's actually a few counters that has been mentioned by Aiman and of course David. Okay, so TSH warrant is also on our new warrants listing. So we actually listed this on Tuesday. Let me share with you the live page on the warrant website. So this is the warrant website. I think you know. Okay, so TSH C19 is like how you actually search for a warrant. So you'll be able to see more information here compared to screen on Google, KLSA screener, and so forth. All right, because we actually extracted all the terms and specifications for warrants. So for TSH C19, why is it attractive? Because look at the spec. At one glance, you'll be able to tell that this is a very sensitive warrant. Even though it's new, but then the sensitivity is at 1.7 ticks, which means it might flip 1 tick or 2 ticks. Okay, so every 1 or 2 ticks, right, TSH C19 will be able to move by half a cent. So the effective gearing was approximately 4.3 times. So if I look at it, right, the exercise price was 1 ringgit and 25 cents, if that rings a bell. Okay, so 125. So now you need to use these price metrics to see what is the price of warrant in accordance to the mother share price. So if it opens at 1 ringgit 25 cents, the warrant price will be at 8 cents and the ask will be at 8.5. So if it broke out and then it actually went up to 1 ringgit 30 cents, this is an example, the warrant price will be priced at 9.5 cents and 10 cents. Okay, so for price metrics, normally price metrics will be valid for 1 day only. That is because there are time decay in all warrants. So if you compare today's price metrics and maybe like 5 days later, the price metrics will be different because of time decay. But normally price metrics will be good for a day lah. So it will be suitable for intraday traders or maybe short-term trader as well. Right. Besides from that, I will just show you some other warrants that actually garnered quite a high interest. So TSH, we have two C19 and C17. But C17 is expiring very soon, so there's a risk. There's a risk actually for you to trade. However, it's like super sensitive, but it's expiring very soon, so a time decay will happen very fast. Okay, Gamuda C40, I would say yesterday there are high trading volume in it. Definitely it's due to the, I would say, a lot of activity in Gamuda mother share as well. So Gamuda C40 with an effective gearing of 4.2 times. The sensitivity is about 5 ticks. All right, so this, if you compare to 1 or 2 ticks, is not very sensitive. However, if you be able to enter at top of the matrix, there will still be time for you, or maybe we call it a cushioning, for you to actually stop loss on the trade in the case that the mother share is dropping very fast. Okay, so this is what we call it's quite decent, I would say. 4 to 5 ticks is quite decent. But if you're aiming for a bullish momentum and a fast trade, then you can go for those with lesser ticks of sensitivity. All right, so that's all from us today. Thank you so much for dialing in. Remember to go to this RHB website announcement, new warrants, then you'll be able to look at all our new warrants. Oh, there's another one I forgot to mention, which is KSL Holdings Berhad, KSLCW, with an exercise price of 3 ringgit. So this one also was quite active the past few days with the I think the price was at around less than 10 cents. Okay, so if you want to explore more, do use the RHB website. And that's all from us today. Thank you so much for dialing in RHB Morning Cup at 8. So we see you on Monday morning. Thank you.